beaten by Manchester United at Old Trafford? Do you know how distinctly average this Manchester United team are? Do you know how beatable this Manchester United team are? Do you know how many times this Manchester United team have won under Ruben Amorim? Not a lot. And do you know what's happened? We've gone up to Old Trafford and we have totally and utterly pressed the self-destruct button. Never before have I seen a defeat where you can directly trace the defeat to the average nature of the manager. The manager of Chelsea Football Club was completely and utterly responsible for the defeat. It wasn't down to Robert Sanchez. Like, Robert Sanchez is a bozo. We know this. Robert Sanchez is distinctly woeful. Robert Sanchez is undoubtedly the worst goalkeeper in the Premier League. But we know this. We know this. This isn't why Chelsea lost. Chelsea lost because of Enzo Maresca. Enzo Maresca was the architect of our own downfall. Manchester United didn't win today. Enzo Maresca lost. It was shocking management. Really amateur stuff. So predictable. And if you look at everything that happened, if you look at why Chelsea lost, if you try and analyse the nuance of the game, if you try and focus upon where it all went wrong, every single answer traces back directly to the manager. It traces directly back to Enzo Maresca. I mean, those substitutions were crazy. Those substitutions were crazy. Like, there isn't a way of rationalising it. There isn't a way of going, oh, well, you know, maybe this was the logic. And if you do your best, you can kind of try. You can go, well, you know, taking Esteval off, you take the young kid off in a tricky environment, away from home, at Old Trafford, it's intimidating. The weather was awful. You can kind of go, look, Esteval coming off. Maybe you rationalise it. I disagree, by the way. I disagree with taking Esteval off. When you're down to 10 men, you need players like Esteval on the pitch. But let's try, right? You need to take someone off. You need to accommodate for a goalkeeper's idiocy. So you take Esteval. Maybe it makes sense. But what are you doing? You cannot take everyone off capable of winning the game. You cannot take everyone off who is capable of carrying the ball forward. You cannot take off all of your mercurial players. You will obviously get beat. And when we went into the situation where we had 10 men, it's so important to remember this. The score was 0-0. Manchester United... Chelsea playing Manchester United, we should still be able to beat them if the score is 0-0. We weren't 1-0 down. We should have been able to win the game, even with Robert Sanchez being a complete and utter klutz. Even with Robert Sanchez being a complete and utter bozo who should never play for the club again. He should never have the privilege of playing for Chelsea Football Club again. But now we're talking about the idiot owners. But even with the idiot goalkeeper, even with the idiot owners, Chelsea, having gone down to 10 men at Old Trafford, should have been totally and utterly capable of winning that game. Enzo Maresca should have been able to find the recipe to still win that game from 0-0 with 10 versus 11. It was still there. A good manager wins that game. I don't care. Jose Mourinho 05 wins that game. Antonio Conte 2017 wins that game. Thomas Tuchel 2021 wins that game. No doubt about it. No ifs, no buts. Chelsea would win that game. Manchester United are abysmal. This is the worst version of Manchester United that you have ever seen. If Manchester United had been beaten today, there is a chance that Ruben Amorim would have been given a tin tack. That's how bad they are. And somehow we have lost to them. Somehow we have managed to conspire to get beat by the worst Manchester United team in my lifetime. The worst Manchester United team of the Premier League era. And it's all directly traceable. It's so weird. Generally speaking, when a victory happens or a defeat happens, like, you know, if you talk about Liverpool winning, Liverpool beat Everton today. If I asked 100 people why it happened, some would say slot, but other people would talk about Gravenberch, other people would talk about X, Y, and Z. You don't just go to manager. I'm not joking. Chelsea getting beat today, it was the manager totally and utterly responsible. It was the manager pressing the self-destruct button. It was the manager getting it so wrong. And when you are a manager, when you make your money, you don't make your money when everything's going well, swanning about New York City, Cole Palmer being world-class, Cole Palmer doing the business, Cole Palmer making you look good. That isn't when you earn your money. You earn your money when you go away to Old Trafford, you keep it acts like a bozo. That is when you, as a manager, needs to go, all right, here's the nuance. Here's a tactical tweak. Here is the way that I'm going to improve the personnel. Here is the way that I'm going to redefine this team. That is when a manager earns his money. What did our manager do? We ended up going into a situation where our idiot keeper puts us, backs against the wall, and our manager went, oh my God, it was like those people, I've seen them on the internet. You know when they play the computer games and they concede a goal and they go mental and launch the remote against the wall or whatever. That's what Enzo Maresca did in real life. He literally did that. He witnessed his goalkeeper do something dumb. He witnessed his dumb goalkeeper do something dumb, so there should have been no shock there. But he witnessed his goalkeeper do something dumb. And rather than go, okay, right, in Mourinho's case, let me have a chat with Rui Faria and work out a way around it. Let me in Carlo Ancelotti's case, talk to Ray Wilkins and work out a way around it. What does he do? He goes, launches the remote out. And launches it. It just brings off all of your creativity, puts on a team that is completely and utterly incapable of winning the game, puts on a team that totally plays into the hands of Manchester United, puts on a team that is totally perfect for Ruben Amorim, and ultimately the game was over in that moment, not because of Sanchez, but because of the decisions that were made by Enzo Maresca. I mean, when you're playing against this Manchester United team with 10 men, you can still win. Plenty of teams will beat them. And what have we become? Like, who are we? How are we in a situation where we're... Do you know how many games we've won this season? You think about the focus on Ruben Amorim, and look, I've been giving it to Amorim. You think about a focus on him. People are talking about him getting sacked constantly. People are back pages, front pages, airways, YouTube, everything. Amorim, out. They've won 2 games this season. Do you know how many games we've won this season? And we're supposed to be a team capable of this, capable of that, potentially gonna challenge World Club champions, one in Poland, finish in the top 4. We're supposed to be a good team. Do you know how many we've won? Man United, Amorim out, 1-2. Chelsea, moving on up, we've won 2. And if you think about who we've beaten, we have beaten, what? We beat Fulham when we didn't deserve to, and we beat West Ham. West Ham United, Potter's West Ham United, who everyone beats. That's who we've beaten. Fulham when we didn't deserve to, and West Ham United, who everyone beats. They've won 2. And think about the fixtures. They've played us, they've played City, they've played Arsenal. No one's talking, there's 1 point between Chelsea and Man United. 1 point. 1 point. They've won as many as us. And they've had far trickier fixtures. Far trickier. I'm now worried. I genuinely am worried, because everything that happened today was just if you think about the way that it happened, anything other than a win today was completely and utterly unacceptable, and we lost. But not only did we lose, we lost in the most meek way possible. Feeble, weak, pitiful. No spine, no heart, no fight, no tenacity. Like, where's the spine of the team? Check Terry, Lampard, Drogba. Where's Ashley Cole? Where's Michael Ballack? Where's the personality? Like, it's all very well having a limited manager. But the team didn't rise. The team didn't fight. And I'm serious, this defeat belongs to the manager. Pathetic managerial decisions. Like, you're playing a Man United team that never win. Like, that was like Ruben Amorim's been there 50 games. He's probably won 7 games at the club, but that was one of them. Like, they never win. They get beat week in, week out. The only team they've beaten this year, apart from us, is Burnley. And they did that in the last minute. That was difficult for them. Scott Parker gave them a rough ride. We didn't. We rolled over for them. Absolutely shocking. And I tell you what was the most annoying thing. In that second half, we actually proved that we were capable of winning it. That is the most painful thing. I saw in that second half that we could have won the game. They were worried. Like, the closer that Man United got to a good result, the twitchier they got, the more worried they got, the more desperate they got, the challenges were rash, they know buying D is a calamity, the Stretford end were nervous. We didn't really ask any questions. We should have been on them, we should have been attacking, we should have been relentless, we should have been driven. Nothing. But this is what you get when you have a board that don't want to win the league. This is what you get when you have a board whose priority it is to make money. We are not trying to assemble a team to win the league. Look at the money spent and look at who it's been spent on. What on earth makes you think that the team is being assembled to succeed? Ask serious questions about Bluco. Ask serious questions about Bowley and Egbali. Are they trying to assemble a team capable of winning a league, or are they trying to assemble a team that are capable of turning a profit? You sign Garnacho, not because you think Garnacho will improve the team, not because Chelsea need a creative winger, not because we desperately need Alejandro Garnacho. You sign Alejandro Garnacho because if it goes well, Alejandro Garnacho will be worth 100 million quid. If it goes badly, he's so young that he will be worth what you've paid. It's a market opportunity, as they call it. And if you look at what Chelsea did in the summer, none of it. And it's so frustrating and it's so unacceptable. We talk about fit and proper people in our game, and they have bought a club and they have no intention of actually making it the best it can be. Look at what Liverpool did in the summer. They needed a new left back. They identified that Andy Robertson needed help. And what did they do? They went out and they signed Kirkes, another left back, somebody that will elevate their team. Arsenal needed a striker. What did they do? They went out and they bought Gyökeres. Chelsea needed a goalkeeper. We needed some centre halves. Levi Colwill got injured. Terrible news, but injured at the right time. We have time to buy someone in. We've got no good centre halves, really. We got a woeful goalkeeper, worst goalkeeper in the league. The transfer window is still open. Chelsea are going to spend big money on the final day. They're obviously going to buy a goalkeeper and a couple of centre-halves, aren't they? They've bought who? Garnacho and Buonanotte? That doesn't make sense if they're trying to win the league. Correct. It doesn't make sense if we're trying to win the league because we're clearly not trying to win the league. It makes absolutely no sense. We could have signed Donnarumma and Mark Gahey for 70 million quid. Instead of that, we're buying Buonanotte and Garnacho and Gittins, and we sell Noni Madueke. Fine, sell Madueke. But if you want to win the league, when you sell Madueke, you go and buy Eze. If you don't want to win the league, you sell Madueke and you go and buy Gittins. Nothing about Chelsea is set up to trying to win the league. And that, my friend, is a travesty. No one will care on the board that we've lost. No one will care. As long as we qualify for the Champions League, this project will continue. But it's a shocker and it's a disgrace. What we should be doing is challenging, trying to win silverware. The culture of Chelsea Football Club is about success. The Chelsea culture is about striving to be the best, demanding excellence from the top down, making sure that you compete at the very top. Instead of that, we have gone away to Man United, a Manchester United team in turmoil, and we have been turned over. And we have been turned over not because we have a bozo in goal, not because we have a dope in goal. We've been turned over because our manager can't manage his way out of a paper bag. That is what has happened. That is where it has all gone wrong. I am appalled with how it's happened. And Enzo Maresca really should hang his head in shame. Just before I go, listen to this from Enzo Maresca. He says it's very difficult because the early red card completely changed the game. All of the plans are in the bin. So it's very complicated. That's what you like to hear, innit? A pragmatic manager. A manager that can roll with the punches. A manager that won't be put out because of events beyond your control. Basically, the keeper, he basically said there, he got sent off. What do you want me to do? It's the words of an average manager. You employ a championship manager, and it's a shame. It just shows you, though, that silverware last year, and the silverware last year papered over the cracks. You know, winning in New York City papered over the cracks. And Nottingham Forest dropping like a stone in the league allowed us to qualify for the Champions League, and it papered over the cracks. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Ta-da.